The police have this morning confirmed that they will investigate the Downing Street parties. Your reaction to that news?
Yeah, it's one of those things, Gloria, really. I think a lot of us really just want to be able to get on with it. We're waiting for the Sue Gray report to come out, and it's obviously important that we know the full story and exactly what's going on before we can make a decision on that. And this is clearly going to delay that. Police before have obviously said that they don't normally look into things retrospectively. I know there's a public interest element there, so they'll have that now. So it's very difficult to comment on it, I suppose, while that investigation's ongoing. But as you said, it's going to delay things probably by a few weeks. And in the meantime, we've got Russia potentially invading Ukraine, energy, cost of living problems as well. And really, we just want to be able to get on with that.
Indeed, but the argument is that you can't get on the front foot. You can't get on with the business of governing. Brendan, you're always willing to come on when your party is having a rough ride. Respect to you for that. But come on, you can't go on like this.
Yeah, and I think that's why we wanted the report to be out. But at the same time, you don't want a half-hearted report that's just put through for the sake of it. People want some proper answers with things, and I think it's only right that it's done properly. Whether the police have needed to be involved or not, I couldn't say. I don't know exactly what it is that they're going to be investigating. I know it's mentioned Whitehall generally as well. But yeah, I was hoping that report was going to come out this week, and then we could, all things being well, draw a line under things and get on with it. But it looks like it's going to be quite a few weeks now.
Your Conservative colleague, David Davis MP, who we all know has called for the Prime Minister to go, he tweeted, "With the police now investigating, this nightmare gets even worse. We have to be able to get back to dealing with real threats as quickly as possible." He's making the point that you can't govern while this nightmare continues. What will it take for you to withdraw your support from the Prime Minister?
Well, I think we can govern, and we have been governing. If you look, the Prime Minister was on a call last night with different world leaders trying to deal with the problem that we've got coming up with Russia and Ukraine. We've been taking decisive action on many other things, so we're getting on with it. I think the perception really, as they say, never criticise the media, but a lot of the media, the opposition, maybe on Twitter, there's this obsession with this rather than things that are a bit more important. But we're getting on with the important things while this is going on. And whilst I agree, it is a distraction that, we don't really want to see. I don't think the government is distracted from it. I would say it's mainly others.
Nadine Dorries, Cabinet Minister, has said, so when people in an office buy a cake in the middle of the afternoon for someone else they are working with in the office and stop work for 10 minutes to sing happy birthday and then go back to their desk, this is now called a party, ? Do you think it's a party?
No, not at all. I think there's a danger of really overreaching, I think, a little bit. Someone having a birthday cake at their desk and while people are walking around maybe picking up a bit of cake, I think it's going a little bit far. I think I even saw one comment about, there's a decorator there and had a bit of cake. If my boiler breaks down and I get the plumber visiting, it's fairly customary that I'd make them a cup of tea while they're there. It doesn't mean that there's a party going on. So I think it's maybe getting a little bit silly. So I think certainly the birthday party one, it's not really adding anything. Sue Gray said she was already aware of that anyway. So I think that's been put out. I think, obviously, the police investigation that's been mentioned and the report being delayed is probably a bit more significant in that sense, because, as we said, we want to be able to get on with things. We don't want nitpicking. We want to look at things that are actually serious, and that's why it's important that the report's comprehensive and done properly.
You have a pretty whopping majority. You won the seat for the first time for the Conservatives at the last election. Your majority is sizable. But don't you feel that it might be different for your colleagues, those Conservative MPs with far, far smaller majorities? They must want this nightmare to stop. Is Boris Johnson really the man who can save their seats at the next election?
Well, I don't think it matters too much what your majority is, really. I think it's more a case that you shouldn't take your voters for granted, whatever the size of your majority. But, of course, a lot of us were elected in the first place because of Boris Johnson. I campaigned the Prime Minister in his leadership campaign. We got an 80-seat majority. He's been very, very successful. Done a lot of other things. And I think really midterm, you're going to have a bit of a dip in the polls. But I think my message to people is basically, politics, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And don't pay too much attention to the opinion polls. Just keep doing the right thing and the polls will follow.